So what is colloidal silver and can it help me? Now, I am also archiving at the same time I'm archiving this presentation a more detailed presentation on colloidal silver that it'll be up on YouTube, and where we get a lot into a lot of the other issues that people that are constantly raised with colloidal silver, like the process called ageria and people making it themselves with the generators and things of that nature. So if you want to know more about that, please reference the other presentation. So people ask why they've never heard of colloidal silver from the medical community. But ironically, over 100 years ago, colloidal silver was a proven medical germ fighter and was widely used. In fact, it was the forerunner to the modern day antibiotics that we have today. In 1914, the medical journal Lancet reported phenomenal results from its use. Dr. Henry Cook showed colloidal silver to be absolutely harmless and non-toxic to humans and highly germicidal. Colloidal silver has proven itself useful against all species of fungi, bacteria, protozoa, and certain viruses. For centuries, many have known of the properties of silver. The ancients stored their water in silver vessels to prevent bacteria from growing. Our American settlers would put a silver dollar in their milk containers to hinder its spoilage. Prior to the 1940s, articles regarding the benefits of colloidal silver were frequently seen in medical journals. During the 1930s, silver was actually used both externally and internally for a variety of medical conditions. But because, number one, it could not be patented as a natural substance, and because it couldn't be patented, the pharmaceutical companies lost interest because they always want patented substances because therefore they can control it and make more money. Also, the second reason was at the time its high price, which was around $100 an ounce prior to the 1940s. And three, the introduction of penicillin and other antibiotics, which could be patented and controlled by the pharmaceutical medical cartel. Because of these reasons, the use of colloidal silver fell by the wayside. UCLA Medical Center said colloidal silver killed every virus that was tested in the lab. The March 1978 issue of Science Digest, in an article entitled Our Mightiest Germ Fighter, reported an antibiotic kills perhaps half a dozen different disease organisms, but silver kills some 650. Resistant strains fail to develop, whereas with an antibiotic, resistant strains do develop, and this is why we have a lot of the super strains of bacteria that exist today. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit more very soon in regard to the MRSA, Staph aureus. Silver actually kills some 650 disease organisms, but it has to be the right kind of silver in order to do this. And again, more on that very soon. Dr. Henry Cook said, I know of no microbe that is not killed in the laboratory tests within 6 minutes. Research indicates silver intake is necessary for the proper functioning of the immune system. So many people don't understand that silver is actually like a trace element. Much like zinc is very important for our immune system, so is silver. Only the Envive brand colloidal silver falls within the guidelines as they existed before the 1938 federal regulatory takeover of our food and drug supply. This is when the FDA kind of took things over. Therefore, this product can be distributed as a pre-1938 original formula without FDA new drug approval. This is the original 1938 broad-spectrum mild silver protein formula that was used in the treatment of more than 650 diseases, including viral infections, bacterial infections, cold, flu, nasal infections, and fungal infections. Now, many of the modern colloidal silvers that are on the market ride the coattails of this research and say that they too can cure 650 diseases, but that cannot be done because they're just not strong enough. They're not concentrated enough. This is my disclaimer in regard to the next part of the presentation. It is your constitutional right to educate yourself in the arena of health and medical knowledge, to seek helpful information and make use of it for the benefit of you and your family. You are the one responsible for your own health. In order to make decisions in all health matters, you must educate yourself. The information presented is not intended as prescriptive advice and should not be construed to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or condition. The supplements discussed are intended to support normal physiological and biochemical processes in the human body. My goal is to help you maximize, to make physical and nutritional changes to help maximize your own healing potential and immune system function. This next slide is the 5,000 part per million mild silver protein suggested therapeutic dosing guidelines. This product can be taken internally, applied topically, and also atomized via a personal nebulizer like asthmatics use. This little slide here is an actual slide of the H5N1 avian flu virus. Now, as far as therapeutic dosing guidelines, this is kind of worst case scenario. This would be like bubonic plague, anthrax, avian flu, these types of things. 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon for every 30 pounds of body weight per day if you have been exposed or if you have a virulent virus or infection. This dosage should be equally broken up and taken in 3-hour intervals. Another thing you'd want to do is stay at home, avoid contact with the populace till the outbreak or the biological threat is past. If taking the mild silver protein, drink at least 8 8-ounce glasses of purified water per day to kind of keep things flushed out of the system. These are just general things that you would want to do. We also had talked about here about a nebulizer, which can be used particularly if what you've been exposed to is airborne, and we're going to be talking more about that shortly. Because the 5,000 part per million mild silver protein is only available in 4-ounce bottles, it would be wise to keep at least a few bottles for each adult family member and 1 to 2 for each child in your household. These are really bare minimum recommendations because, as I said before, the supply of these things are going to be gone virtually at the same time an outbreak or a biological agent is released. Whenever that happens, the supply of these things are going to be bought up probably within 1 to 2 days. At that point, you won't have any time to act. So you would actually want to view this like an insurance policy that hopefully you'll never have to use. Even if you don't use this product in the event of a pandemic or a biological attack, it can be taken on an everyday basis to keep the immune system strong. There's my website there, www.dr-johnson.com, if you want to know more. And going further, in comparison, for example, to the Source Naturals Ultra Colloidal Silver 10 part per million 4-ounce bottle that is commonly sold in the health food stores for a $26.50 list price, it would take 500 4-ounce bottles of this 10 part per million colloidal silver, or $13,250 worth, to equal 1 4-ounce 5,000 part per million bottle of the Envive mild silver protein, listed at $100 per bottle. So you're getting the same thing in one $100 bottle of the 5,000 part mild silver protein as you would get in 500 4-ounce bottles of the 10 part per million ultra colloidal silver from Source Naturals. Now, I'm not exaggerating. We're just doing the math here. So that's an accurate representation. So in actuality, this product is extremely cost effective. The 5,000 part per million strength can also be diluted with distilled water to make other strengths, and as a result is by far the best value. For example, with 1 bottle of the 5,000 part per million silver, you could conceivably make 2,000 ounces per million just described above. 2,000 ounces. So again, it's very, very cost effective. The risk factor from taking silver is 0 according to the FDA. And this is a letter to the FDA requesting any recorded cases of silver's ill effect. The relevant excerpt of said letter says, "We have researched the records from the FDA's AERS, which stands for Adverse Event Reporting System, and have been unable to locate any cases that would be responsive to your request." So they don't have any recorded cases of silver's ill effect.